Hey there, toy collector friends and Transformers fans alike. Welcome back to Robo Reflections here on YouTube, and this is Generation 1 Rodimus Prime in all of his Generation 1 goodness. Here he is with the core figure standing atop his mobile battle platform. As you can see, this is a guy that dates back to the late 1980s, and as a result of that, he is currently missing his own personal extra long weapon and also the blast shields that would originally have featured there. Unfortunately, they are lost to time, as are some of his decals. But that said, the figure itself still works and is intact, and I think he needs a little bit of love and attention as a character, as a figure. I'm going to bring him over here just to sort of put him in the limelight a little. Good old Rodimus Prime. He's a bit of a poor soul. We'll pop him there. He's a bit of a poor soul. I think a poor relation to the Transformers toy range of Generation 1. Does he stimulate creativity and imagination? Well, putting it this way, he kind of has to. There's not much going on. He has no well, he's got basic shoulder rotation. There's nothing going on in the elbows or the wrists, and there's definitely, forgive me Rodimus, there's definitely nothing going on in the legs. He has got separate legs, so that's, you know, something, but there is absolutely no posability or maneuverability with those legs. He is basically a lump of molded plastic saying, hey, hi, I'm here to save you all from the darkness of Unicron, but I can't bend my knees. But don't worry, because when he transforms, he doesn't have to bend his knees, so that's a real result. Rodimus Prime, obviously introduced to the toy line as an offshoot of the Transformers animated movie, where the characters' designs occurred first, and then the toys were built around them afterwards. Which is a rarity in the original G1 line, and I'm sure there are many of you who are already super familiar with the history of Transformers toys. If you're not, then do check out some other pre-existing channels. There's Transformers The Basics, who will give you the history of the invention of the Transformers, etc., along with some other excellent reviewers and Transformer toy historians, which, alas, at this juncture, I don't feel I could say I am. So, Rodimus Prime here in his Generation 1 glory. Yeah, he's essentially an evolved version of the Hot Rod toy. And just to sort of show you what that looks like, and I'm not necessarily aiming to do a toy comparison, but here is his Hot Rod original identity, who actually, in terms of detailing and characterfulness, for me is a far more interesting character. Again, Hot Rod suffers from no knee action and no hip action, but he does at least have posable elbows, for what that's worth. But he looks, there's a more sort of finished and kind of completeness to G1 Hot Rod. Thanks for your cameo appearance there. Whereas poor old Rodimus, who has transformed from Hot Rod into this superior leader type to help end the war against Unicron in the dark days of Cybertron. Yeah, it's a bit of a brick. He's a bit of a brick. That said, I do have kind of a soft spot for him in my heart. I loved that time, that toy line. So in terms of the toy connecting me to my childhood memories, it definitely does. But unfortunately, in terms of playability, he is very dependent on you having a good imagination and a high level of creativity to really bring him to life in any of your toy-based games. Even toy photography is a little bit limited without a full range of special effects to work with. We can take a second to look at the the battle platform segment that he comes with. There's not a huge amount to tell you about this. There's some very limited standing space. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's as an extension of the Prime model, which is essentially a trailer section that has extended play features. Rodimus is born in battle, and his trailer section is clearly a battle platform with the rotating gun, nowhere to attach effects, so you can spin that round. He can be in there operating it. In you go, taking on Decepticons left, right, and centre. Fantastic, but to all intents and purposes, that's kind of it with Generation 1 Rodimus Prime, I'm afraid to say. It's a shame, because I think there was a lot they possibly could have done, but maybe G1, there just wasn't the technological advancements around engineering to do anything with him that was particularly stand out. And again, with the base, it follows the same idea as his direct predecessor Optimus Prime in terms of prime to prime, in that it is a trailer unit that opens up and has an elevating, extending internal section. In this case, it's less repair mode and far more focused on battle, which makes sense in context with the character. But yeah, little bit of a shame that that's kind of where it goes. I'm going to pause there. I won't subject you to my transforming of him, because actually, despite his age, or perhaps because of it, aspects of Rodimus's transformation are still quite, the joints are quite tight, so I don't really want you to sort of agonize over me transforming him. I will endeavor to use a little bit of TV transformer magic and make it happen. So here we have Rodimus in his trailer mode, the equivalent of Optimus's vehicle mode, and as you can see, and you can see why he's often referred to as a space Winnebago, due to the nature of his overall shape and design, which, you know, is an intriguing shape and design. I think the detailing here is really good. I think you can the exhaust pipes, the flame decals, the orange and red color scheme, complete with the blue transparent plastic in the canopy there. I think actually I prefer, and this might be sacrilege amongst other Transformer toy collectors, so apologies if you have an alternative opinion. That's what's so good about opinions. They're all different, and we love a bit of diversity. But I actually prefer Rodimus Prime's vehicle mode to his robot and base mode, because I can play a bit more with this if were I so inclined. I can have him with other Autobots rolling out. I can have him posed on a backdrop or a set, and he looks like he's dynamic and engaging. There is something a little undynamic, I fear, in Rodimus's robot mode, and it could just be that sense that I am looking at a static piece of plastic. Again, a sterling work done by the comics and by the cartoons, to all intents and purposes, in terms of bringing this character to life and keeping this character alive. I know that there is some history around the retention of the copyright around the name Hot Rod, and his many varied appearances in Transformers lore, both as a figure and as a character within the comics and the cartoons, for example. But here, in his G1 first appearance variant, complete with reveal the shield type sticker, this mode I like. This mode really appeals to me. This mode has, I think, the displayability and playability that actually his figure mode doesn't. Doesn't give us any kind of real playability. There's some elements of posability, and again, you have him in with a wave of other figures, and perhaps there's more to see in terms of his contribution to those dioramas. But for me, if I'm going to display G1 Rodimus at all, it would probably be like this. and maybe that's something I can explore a bit more in future. I think he's subpar to the Hot Rod toy, and of course he is now returning to the toy line, or has returned to the toy line, as War for Cybertron Kingdom Rodimus Prime, in a Commander class figure, and that's something that we'll look at in a separate video, so watch out for that. But in terms of the Generation 1 equivalent, is he something you need to have in your Generation 1 Transformers toys collection? Well, I think you have to really love this guy in order to want him. He doesn't scream, "You need to own me," like certain other G1 figures might do. But again, as I say, this is possibly why I have a bit of a soft spot for him, because for me, he was there around about the time I was beginning to collect Transformers. So he certainly dates back to my original interest in Transformers, whereas nowadays, I can understand why those coming to the collection new might look at this and go, yeah, I think I might pass on this one. And I believe, talking and looking at other reviewers and reading comments that other people have left and messages people have left, that was a general sense from a lot of people regarding the new Commander class Rodimus Prime in the Kingdom range, up until the point where people acquired him, and then they had a very different take on the new Rodimus Prime. But more on that elsewhere. So for me, I love him, but I love him because of the nostalgia that he generates within me. I don't necessarily love him for himself, and he is a little bit lacking for me as a figure. But that said, many Generation 1 figures were a little unposable, a little inflexible, and frankly lumps of plastic that you could make look much more productive and playable in their vehicle mode than ever you could in their molded robot mode. So if you enjoyed my little trip down memory lane with Generation 1 Rodimus Prime, do please give me a juicy thumbs up. Equally, you can have a look at some more of my Transformers photos and other toy photos over on my Instagram, which is the Time Travelling Toy Collector. If you're interested in looking at old Transformers toys, as well as other models and other types of collectibles in different toy lines, you might want to consider subscribing to this channel, because there will be more coming in the near future. And the more people I see interested in these kinds of things, then most definitely the more of them I'll do. And hopefully over time, I'll be putting in swish effects, and it'll be getting much, much better. The more I do it, the more I learn about how to do it better. Anyway, take care. Do enjoy the toys you have. This is the Time Travelling Toy Collector signing out for now, and reminding you that even if it's Rodimus Prime G1, a thing of beauty can be a toy forever. Take care. Bye-bye for now.